first thing we're going to talk about is the wand by Mark Buggs. So the wand is an interesting little atomizer. Vape's pretty good. I'm using it on the Wizard, so. But let's take this off. Hold on a sec. Let me find my notes here. So, this is from Mark Buggs. Alright, Fred. This is the part of the show where you all have to look at Fred, because he wants everyone to pay attention to him. Now he's going to sit on my shoulder. Okay, great. So, anyway, Mark Buggs. So this device is from Mark Buggs. I'm going to give you the website here in chat. Hold on a sec. It's alright, Nani, no worries. Alright, so that's the website. You can check the device out on there. Sadly, this is a very limited run. It's already done. He's not going to make any more until next year. So, which kind of sucks, but you may be able to find them on the classifieds, get it in trade, something like that. It was $200. That price was offered to people that either owned a Wizard, a titanium Wizard, or owned a Wizard's Apprentice and signed up when he did a little list on Vaporwall. The regular price on it moving forward, I believe, is going to be about $30 more than that. So it is not an inexpensive device. It's 100% titanium. Like I said, it's not going to be available again, sadly, until probably 2014, from what I heard. So, what comes with the device is pretty much what you see here. The only thing that actually no, there's nothing that I've taken out. I was going to say I took out the fill screw, but that's not true. You get the device, you get the drip tip, all the screws that go on the inside, and that's it. I didn't get any extra, and I got this straight from Mark Buggs. I didn't get any extra O-rings or anything like that on the device. But you know, it's already set up, and all you got to do is put a wick and a coil in there, and it's ready to go. So, the specs on the device, it is 100% titanium. Not 100% titanium. The contacts are not titanium, but it's a titanium device. It's got a plexiglass tank, so it is not a glass tank. You're not going to be able to use fluid. I meant to say 2014. Sorry, Scratch. Not going to be available again until next year. It's 21 millimeter diameter. It's meant to be paired with either the Wizard's Apprentice or the Wizard, which is also a 21 millimeter device. It's about 40 millimeters high. That does not include the drip tip. It weighs 28 grams, which is extremely light, you know, because it is titanium. It's got a standard 510 threading on it, and it has silver-plated contacts, standard 510 drip tip. It's got some pretty cool features on it, actually. It has, on the exterior, it has a adjustable airflow. So you can see this on the front here. This little hole right here, this whole ring turns, and you can see you're sealing off part of the air hole a little bit at a time as you turn it. So the airflow is adjustable, and that's open all the way. It's centered on that little line there. Pretty cool design, the way that works, and it's nice and snug. I haven't had any issues with it slipping. You know, wherever you set it, that is where it stays. It is really cool, actually. It's also a really nice looking device. I mean, I think the quality of the machining on it is pretty impeccable. I mean, you can tell just looking at it. Everything about the machining is just flawless. The finish on it is flawless. Come on, will you please focus for me here? Oh, It's got the little W for wand. I've heard a lot of people say it reminds them of Wario from the Mario Brothers, which I thought was kind of funny. And then it's got these like polished grooves that look really nice. The W's on the other side as well. There we go. Now it's focusing in. So, and it's got a media blasted finish on it, other than the polished grooves there, which look really sharp. You can see the top cap is slightly beveled, and then it's flat on the top, and then it's got a bevel at the bottom so that it meets up flush with the wizard or the wand. So, let's see. Hold on a sec, sorry. It feels really well made too. It doesn't just look well made. I mean, like I said, the finish on it feels really nice. Yeah, I mean, the quality of the make of it is just actually absolutely impeccable. But let's go and take a look at the internals here. So, hold on a sec. It is a screw top. So it doesn't have adjustable throat hit per se, but it does have adjustable pretty much everything else. So it's a single wick setup, and the way that you set this up is a little bit different than traditional Genesis style atomizers. So hold on a sec. I will get this to focus so that you can see. Come on now. Oh, you gotta be a turd. Let me get this to zoom in slowly here. Focus. Come on, work with me, camera. Maybe if I just do this, then we'll do it. Right in front. Come on now. Well, I apologize, my camera's being a douche right now. Let me do this. There we go. So, just turn off autofocus for a little bit. Yeah, it's just the autofocus doesn't like to behave. So, the way that you set this up underneath is, instead of wrapping it around the post and then tightening the screw to catch the wire, the way this works is it's set up more like you see set up in dripping devices. So the wire actually feeds through a hole in the post, and this is the positive and the negative post, and then you screw it down and it tightens it up. I personally find that makes it, while it makes it easier to adjust after the fact, it makes it a little bit tougher to build initially. Especially if you're not doing like a Peter K method, if you're just wrapping it on the device like I did, or not on the device, but just wrapping it on the wick like I did here. So, and it's got the same thing on the negative, as you can see, the little hole there with the wire coming out of it that I bent up after I cut it off. So, so that's a little bit different. Now, one thing I will say though is it's really easy to, fix if you have it a little bit too tight and you're getting like some hot spots at the top or whatever the case may be, because you can actually turn those poles. You can turn the post, and that will either loosen or tighten up the coil, the very top coil on there. So, then you also have adjustable wicking. So if you take a look at the top there, where you see that screw and you see the little fill hole, so that screw has a little flap, and I'll see it from the other side a little bit better there. So it's got that little metal flap that you can see right here on that screw right there. You can turn that, and it will completely cover or completely uncover or anywhere in between the fill hole. And what that does is that adjusts how well the device is wicking. So if you're getting over wicking, you can actually turn that so it covers the the juice hole up a little bit. You can also, I mean, you could theoretically cover it completely if you have if the device is really wicking extremely well, and then you're not going to have any leak issues, which would be nice. I've got it open all the way right now personally, but so that's pretty cool. Hold on a sec. I played around with it a little bit, Springfield, and I noticed that I don't know. I couldn't really tell if it was working on the in-between settings, but like when I opened it up all the way, obviously it wicked extremely well, and then when I closed it all the way, it didn't wick as well, and I actually was getting some dry hits. But like when I opened it partially, it seemed to work just as well as when I had it open all the way. So it wasn't like it's not like I was having issues with it, but I don't know that it's truly, adjustable. I don't really know. But, just based on my past experience, I have found that devices that have a larger wick hole, a larger air hole, not a larger, oh my god, I can't even talk today. Sorry. Devices that have a larger fill hole where the air is entering the tank to replace the juice that is wicking up the wick through the wick hole. They actually wick better. Like the AC9 is a good example. That thing has a giant fill hole on it, and it wicks exceptionally well. So, yeah, I don't know. You don't need tools to adjust it. It's not so snug that you can't do it with your fingers. It has, and that's the same with all of the screws on this device. They're made so that you can use, a screwdriver with them, or you can turn them with your fingers if you want to. So that's pretty cool. Actually, I'll show you the inside of the top cap real quick. It is not. It's not reduced, the buzzword, but it's pretty small inside there. Part of the reason, because the device is so short, and also because because it's not a full 22 millimeters wide as well, so there's a little bit less room for the air to flow around in there. So you get a little bit warmer vapor, a little more flavor, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, so you could take the top off and turn that thing so that it covers the fill hole completely, and then not have it leak in your pocket. I mean, you might have a little bit that leaks from what's sitting in that little juice well there. It's another thing I meant to mention. It's actually a pretty cool feature. So it has that lip around the outside that prevents the juice from leaking out the sides, or leaking down the sides, I should say, because there's no O-ring. Yeah, it's pretty nifty. There's a lot of cool little features on this thing. And, a lot of them work well. Not just in theory, but actually in practice and in use. However, I have had a couple minor issues with it. So, I haven't had any problem with the quality of the vape. The flavor is very good. It produces good vapor. You can adjust, the flavor and the vapor by adjusting the draw on it. You tighter draw, you're going to get more flavor and less vapor. And if you open it up all the way, it's a pretty good size air hole on it, so you're going to get a decent amount of vapor. So, however, it was not the easiest device to set up because of the way that you set up that positive post. I mean, it wasn't like it was incredibly difficult. Don't get me wrong. It just, when you have to feed the wire through that hole and then pull it while you're trying to keep the wire snug on the wick, because you want the wire to be snug on the wick, because if it's loose and not touching the wick, then you're going to get, hot spots and dry hits, because the wire needs to touch the wick all the way around, as those of you who use Genesis style devices know. So that it was just, you know, it's kind of finicky, like having to hold it with one finger while you're trying to feed the wire through the other side. And like, I think it would have been easier to set up if maybe I used a shorter piece of wire and I didn't have as much lead wire that I had to feed through. So maybe that, you know, it's my own fault. But, you know, on a regular one where you just wrap it around the top post, you don't have to worry about that. So the other thing, and this is more of a, I don't know about a serious issue, but it is more of an issue. And this is something that I saw that that other people had issues with the device as well. But the way that the air hole sits, because it is perfectly level with the lip on the inside, when you tilt it a little bit, if there's a little bit of juice in the on the deck of the atomizer, which there will be, even if it's, you know, not over wicking or anything, you're just going to have condensation that builds up in there, and you'll have some juice that sits there. If you tilt it a little bit, the juice will actually come out a little bit of the air hole on you, which is annoying because, you know, it wouldn't be such a big deal if it weren't for the way that the air hole is set up. Now, because the way the air hole is set up with this ring that goes around it, the juice doesn't just like come out the air hole and then you can wipe it off. It comes out and then it gets in between the ring and the rest of the device, and you know, you know, it's not like I've had juice leaking all over the place. I haven't had juice leaking all over the place. It's just, you know, a little tiny bit will come out sometimes when I'm vaping, and I might not notice it because it just seeps in, and then all of a sudden I've got it like coming out of the, you know, where the top cap meets the tank protector on it, and you know, you get a little bit of juice leaking out there. So that was kind of an issue for me. You know, not a deal breaker. You know, it's got a lot of really cool features that make up for it, but I didn't love that about the device. But you know, overall, like I said, it's really well made. The quality of the vape is really good. I didn't have you know, any major issues with it other than that little juice thing, and it's incredibly well made. So I mean, to sum it up, I like the device a lot. I think the wand is really cool. It's got some features that you can't get from other devices, and it has some features that other devices have, but this does it in a little bit more elegant fashion, like the way that the adjustable airflow works on this, and the adjustable wicking, which is cool. You can you can disassemble it to clean anything that gets underneath that ring there. And like I said, again, it's not like the juice is like pouring out. It's not like I had this thing in my pocket and it was leaking all over the place. It was just a tiny bit that leaked out. It didn't even get on me. It just kind of gets in between that ring and the body of the atomizer. So, but I'm gonna have another vape on it real quick. Hold on. So yeah, I mean, it vapes well. Oh yeah, wait till we get to my review of the Steampunk. That's coming up. Actually, that's not next, but I'm going to be using it next because the next device I'm reviewing is on top of it. So yeah, the wand. I definitely give it a thumbs up. It's a really well made device. A lot of thought was put into the device. Like everything else from Mark Bugs, the machine quality is impeccable. It's got features that you don't get on other devices. It's really elegant, but it's got that little leak issue that I'm not a huge fan of. So, you know, I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. The Wario by Mark Bugs.